It's been 2 weeks. I want to know like a couple of good things and a couple of bad things that are going on right now because a lot of people obviously they listen to both of us to just understand how to get into medical sales and what it is. But really, like what I want to talk about is the shit that we're going through on our weekly basis.
Yeah.
And I always wanted to kind of use this as also another way to hold myself accountable
Yep.
to what my goals are. So, some good and some bad.
Yeah. Let's start with the good because it's the easiest to talk about what's going on right now. So last week I closed two deals that totaled $55,000, which officially put me over quota for the year.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, so got shout outs from the VP and everybody. That was nice. Again, this is my first full year with Med Device, so officially came in and proved that, hey, I can sell. And again, this was a territory that was the lowest performing. I have it taped up 66 of 66 in the nation. And now I'm about to close another probably about 50 to 100K this month. And so I'm flirting with top 10. And that's my goal, to do that. So that's been a big win. Have gotten a couple new doctors, that I wasn't expecting. And then also, as you know, right, in this relationship-based business, it's been cool to, I go have kind of talks with some of my guys. I'm like, hey, it's quota time. You want to throw a dog a bone, and being able to get some help with that stuff. So that's been some of the cool stuff. Seeing it lately just go on, and then like for me right now, everything I'm doing for the next month is overage for me, which is a fun, nice, like to see all your hard work pay off. It's nice. And then people see that, and then you start getting DMs and messages from recruiters and all that stuff. And it's crazy, so like, I'm just like, okay, but it's just been that's been the good, a lot of fun, hit quota, starting to like have conversations of, like, okay, what's out there. But again, I'm very loyal to my company. I like where I work, but I think I tell everybody, and I've said this to people that are on my team, and I've said it to my manager, like, I'm always going to talk to people because I'm going to see what market value is, right? If I'm getting paid 50 to 70K under market value, well, then that's a problem for me. You know what I mean? Like, not the company loves it, but I need to make sure we're all doing good. So that's been the good, the bad for me. Just the usual. It's nothing I'm not used to. Some of my accounts, my teammate has given all my information to them, and they still don't call me. And then my manager's like getting emails from random people saying, "Why haven't you contacted these people?" And I'm like, I looked at the email where they messaged back and said, "Hey, great to be working with you, Jacob." Like, so you're dealing with that. New doctors. I did an in-service last week with a team that, again, the whole time I'm there, they're sitting on their phone. They're not paying attention. They're the same people who complain that our stuff's so hard to use. But you go do an in-service, and then they sit on their phone, and they don't want to learn it. So that's the normal stuff. I had my associate come out. She got to see some of it. And then one other bad thing, and it's just sales. That's why I want to put it in there is, I had a $60,000 quote out. It was looking like it was going to close, and everything was going really good. And just real life, I let my associate that was there that day take the case. I had other cases to go, and this was a pretty chill doctor in a chill facility. Didn't go so hot. This was her first case.
Shit hits the fan.
Yep.
That's when shit hits the fan.
And luckily, I was able to come in during the middle of the case and kind of like save it, like, hey, have the conversation, right? Because this doctor, always laughing, always happy. I walked in and he was pissed, and I'm like, I've never seen him pissed, and I'm like, okay, what's going on here, right? And I later find out after another surgery we had, just me and him, found out why, but then he knew my assistant was going to be there for the second case a week later, and he texted me. He's like, hey, we're just going to go in with a different thing. Like, we don't even need you for this procedure. And I'm like, yeah, no worries at all. And then I get a text 10 minutes later from the person who is in charge of the quotes, the OR director. And she's like, hey, your doctor's no longer requesting you here anymore. And we don't need to move forward with your quotes. So it's fine for the fact that he uses me at another facility. He was just kind of my in to that next facility. But now I'm going to have, and I noticed it, right? Like, you can feel it. Like, your doctor's super cool, but we've talked about grabbing a dinner together, just for like networking. And then also like I know one of my buddies knew him. That's how I got connected. So it's me saying thank you to everyone. And I sent a group text and I'm like, hey, when are we doing dinner? And he's like, uh, in person, he was like, yeah, I look forward to it. In the text, he never responded back. And I'm like, okay, that's weird. And then, yeah, and then there's been no text of the dinner. So I'm like,
Hmm.
okay, there's a little, pullback. So just that's some of the real life of like, okay, now I got to kind of do a little digging on his end. But otherwise, the week's been good. But like you said, I'm ready for a vac. I've been telling people once quota's done, May hits, I'm probably taking a week or two vacation, and during that, I'm going to a place where my phone can't even ring, like no service, no nothing. I'm so sick of seeing my phone and my emails blow up.
Yeah, no, that'll be nice, man.
What about you, brother?
On, on my end, similar to you, dude. Like, we talked a little bit last time about quotas, and so I'm still very early into the year. We work on trimesters, so April will be the end of the first trimester, but I'm currently already sitting at 107% to quota. So that's what's up, and just like you're saying, the check will just keep getting bigger and bigger. But then the downside to that is that goalpost gets moved as soon as May
Well, I
hits.
was gonna
So
say,
May,
I feel like we should, like, after you good and bad, I feel like we should maybe talk about kind of the different structures, because I've been talking to more and more people, kind of like how your structure is, and
mhm.
kind of interesting about it.
Yeah. I mean that's awesome. Regardless, I think it's great because for me, the good of it is I was telling you before in this role in like the biotech space. You're changing a mindset, and the product that I sell is and like educate on is something that really you have to change your mindset because it's a radio labeled pharmaceutical, and doctors aren't necessarily comfortable with using it so early in line. And for patients to be getting this and for me to already be at quota, at least for like the facilities that I have, that's what's awesome is that these patients are getting treated. And we had a great patient at our national meeting like talked to us, and she talked about her journey, and this wasn't necessarily within my disease space, but hers was this was in like a different disease space, but she talked about how what we do actually matters. And sometimes, just like you're talking about, like I have those bad appointments where doctors just aren't listening, or I literally just catered the office and they're giving me like 2 minutes of their time. And I get pretty flustered, and I'll even tell them, I'm like, listen, this is not like 2 minutes is not enough for me to let you know what this product can do. So let me know when works best for you, but can we get on the phone? And sometimes that really works. Like I've gotten so many cell phone numbers in that sense, but
Which that by
so
itself is huge. Just getting a doctor's
yeah.
cell phone is another game
Hmm.
changer.
And it's wild. I feel like a lot of people don't ask, and I'm always blunt about it. I'm like, hey, I'm not going to blast you, but like, do you want to exchange numbers because of this disease state, you don't have that many patients. So I just feel like if you have a question, it's super easy for you to just text me, and I can get you
Yeah.
whatever it is you want. And a lot of times they're like, yeah, sure, whatever. Here's my cell phone number. And like I said, I never message them unless it's absolutely necessary because I want to maintain that relationship. But like, so the good is, I should be seeing pretty solid commission check coming in sometime. I guess we close at April, May, June. So in June, because we're like 60 days past the damn day to get paid. So that sucks. You're like 6 months in to get your first bonus. The bad, dude, flights and rental cars right now. They're
Awesome.
like either you find a great flight, but the places that you're going to don't have rental cars. So I've put in and uh, just under 2,500 miles in the last week. And today I drove round trip 9 hours, and Wednesday I'm on a round trip 8 hour because I can't stay overnight. I have another appointment back in this like in my hometown, so I have to go to that appointment and then be back that same day. So travel, dude, like you do it a lot too. I'm finally getting back into the field, and it's just wild. People don't understand, like when you have a territory that's so large, there's so much windshield
Yeah.
time, and during that time, it's not just calling your homies and podcasting and this and that, which I definitely do, but I'm trying to figure out how to move business
Well,
during
it's
that
that
time.
time